Welcome to the Flow State Podcast. I'm your host, Marshall Medallion, and today we have a very special guest, Mr. Ethan Bishop. He's the senior agent with the Shabri Group, the #1 selling team in the Ohio Valley region, local market expert, and active real estate investor. Welcome to the show.
Hey man, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Always shake hands,
yes,
baby.
Sir.
Always
yes, sir.
shake hands, yeah.
Yes, sir. So I always love finding out how people got their start. Let's start from the beginning. What were you doing before real estate, and what kind of set that foundation for where we are today?
So I'll bring it back. I don't want this story to be too long, but I played college across my freshman year up in Northeast Ohio. Basically partied way too hard my freshman year. Lost my college scholarship. And I was like, what am I going to do? And my best friend from high school, and I knew a few other people were going to University of Cincinnati at the time. And I was like, just turned 19 years old, lost my scholarship. I'm like, I need to do something, just get away. Because my hometown was only like 20 minutes away for the college I went to my freshman year. So I was like, how can I go as far away as possible but still have in-state tuition, right? So I was like, Cincinnati it is. And I was like, my best friend from high school's already there. Why the hell not? I'm going to go there. So I moved down here. That was back in 2012. I got a degree in hospitality management.
Nice.
Originally, I thought I was like, gonna work at country clubs and stuff like that. I was into golf, not good at golf. And it just happened to be, then I started working at a bar, and a sushi restaurant at first, and I was slanging sushi. And I also worked at like Panera Bread, did a bunch of odd jobs because my parents were like, we're not really helping you. And I'm like, that makes sense. I effed up, right? So worked a bunch of odd jobs while I went to school here. And the Mr. Sushi place kind of trajected my hospitality management career because I graduated with my associates in hospitality management when I was like 22. And the owners of that place owned Cloud9 out in Mount Lookout. They owned Wabi Sabi over in Covington, Aroma out in Kenwood Mall, and they had two other locations, and one was the one in Clifton called Mr. Sushi. I started bartending there right when I turned 21 because I noticed that they were not utilizing their bar, and I was like, I can get this place popping. So that was kind of like my first, I don't want to say sales job, but it kind of was because I was 21 years old, a bar that never been used. I mean, they only got like $60,000 to $70,000 in total alcohol sales in their 1 year of business when I was just serving there. By the end of year one, I was bartending there. We had done over $350,000 in alcohol sales. And I was a 21-year-old bartending up in Clifton, just inviting friends in and stuff, and it was a blast. And that another year goes by, I get my associate's degree in hospitality management. They opened up another restaurant. They had to move around to general manager. They were like, you're super young, but we like you. And we're going to take a chance on you. And they gave me the general managing position at 22 years old at this place. I was in charge of 50 to 60 employees there. And did that until about age 25 and a half. And it was insane. This place on the weekends turned into a college club. I mean, we'd have bouncers at a sushi restaurant, 3 of them, line out the door till 1 a.m. It was insane. That life got old, obviously, and then I transitioned into a sales position with Verizon. Worked there for a couple years. I was a top 5 rep for the 2.5 years-ish that I was there. And then pretty much COVID happened, and I got my license back in 2019. And the first deal I ever did was my own personal house. We're actually house hacked a little bit. I lived with she's now my wife, and then one of my other best friends. His name's Charles, and just rented out the basement room to him for the 3 years that he was there. Nice. And saved on my mortgage and just helped build my position to be more comfortable to take this chance on going full-time in real estate because my expenses were really low. So COVID happens, right? I don't have any kids. I'm not married yet. I need to bet on myself. I'm topped out at Verizon within the first 2 years that I was there. I don't really see myself growing there. I didn't want to manage people. Now I do manage people in a sense, but COVID happened. I said, I'm just going to do this full time. I'm going to take the risk. It was scary at first. My wife was like, you can do it. And I'm one to always just like go after something. So I did. And, I could spare you the details of the last 6 years of being, a full-time agent, but I think it worked out.
Yeah. No, we'll hop right into it. So breaking into a local market can kind of be tough when you're starting out. What were some of those early learning curve, as well as like maybe some like struggles or failures? Now looking back, what were some of those that you ran into?
So for me, I quickly realized that so many people that are from Cincinnati care so much about their high schools. And like, I like my high school. Was not like how it is down here.
Right.
I don't know. Cincinnati people are just like.
Where'd you go to school?
It was Hoover High School. It was up in North Canton.
Okay.
We were close to like the Football Hall of Fame. That's what I always told people.
Okay. Yeah.
Not that special there.
Right.
I always liken the place that I grew up in was like Lebanon area.
Okay.
Like for Cincinnati references, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess not being from here, I think I kind of played that in a positive way because some people just already have assumptions about who you are because of just where you went to high school or where you grew up and whatnot. I moved here when I was 19. I have no family connections here. I just built relationships literally from friends down here. That is literally how I developed my network down here. So that was a positive for me, and it's still a positive for me because my wife and I, we're also like, we live in Anderson Township right now, but we lived in Sharonville. We lived in Fort Thomas, Kentucky. We lived in Hyde Park area. So we've been all over the place.
Yeah.
So that not being from here, I think, has been a very positive thing.
Okay.
In my eyes, at least.
For sure. For sure. One thing I see about you, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to reach out and make this happen, is you seem to be the guy that outside of, your day-to-day, doing showings, selling houses, that you're out and about. You're probably top of mind when it comes to people. How important is it not only to be a realtor in your friend groups, but the realtor? So now, between my LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, I'm getting monthly over like 600,000 impressions between those three social medias. One thing I'm not good on is TikTok, but I've honed in on those three social medias. I know agents that just kill it in YouTube. I know agents that just kill it on TikTok. Right.
I know agents, just on Facebook, Instagram. But those are my three core ones that I get a lot of traction from. And trying to keep up with anything more without hiring someone out is great. Like I'd lose my mind. But yeah, so now it comes to the part where I've never really liked the idea of calling someone and asking for a referral and be like, hey, who do you know is going to buy and sell real estate? I hate that.
Right.
I hate that, because everyone's getting calls from that old high school person that they haven't talked to in 10 years. And they're like, hey, have you heard of Northwestern Mutual? Like, what I'm talking about?
I do know
that
exactly
happens all the time. Or the Primerica, you ever see those messages?
Yes.
Like, hey, I've got a great opportunity for you. Like, no, multi-level marketing scene, that's what it is. So I never wanted to be that person that's calling like, hey, who do you know is buying and selling real estate? I know that's kind of like the old way of doing things.
Right.
I thought, if I build a brand and actually show that I just do business,
People will come.
People will come. And if you're a positive, you show positive energy and you're knowledgeable and you're also like, I am a real estate investor too. So I know more than, no offense, than 90% of the agents who don't own any property.
Right.
So
wow, you just segued into the next section perfectly. Beyond helping clients buy and sell, you invest into real estate. And how'd you get started with that? And how has it changed the way you advise your clients?
So that, rewinds to my first investment per se, literally was house hacking. Bought a house, let my best friend live in the basement that was finished. And he paid me, and I didn't overcharge him or anything. But I was like, yeah, dude, if you're going to live here, I'm going to charge you something.
Right.
And I even charged, I love my wife. I even charged her before we weren't married yet. It was very low, but I was like, you're going to help with utilities and stuff. We weren't married at the time yet. Obviously that's changed. Not a terrible person. So it all started there. And then it segued into, we bought this house in Anderson that we got from another realtor connection of mine. We have now a house in Covington that we rent out. And now we are building a short-term rental in Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a beach house, and it's going to sleep 26 people. So this is a huge investment for us, but I've ran my numbers on it extensively, and it's going to work out. It's definitely going to work out. There's going to be a lot of road bumps. There already has been. We're hoping for the build to be done by the end of the year. But once it is, it'll be a full-time STR, sleep 26 people. I've ran the numbers so many times. I know we're going to succeed with it. And if we don't, it's a learning thing. So,
yeah. What are some of the trends you're starting to see, like as far as, I don't know, the like niche things about houses? Like, are people kind of, like, I'll ask you a question, is when people go to sell their house, is the popular thing to still paint the walls white? Or like I hear about color drenching.
Color drenching's color's coming back in style. I'd say, and so is like singular walls or singular rooms or smaller rooms. Wallpaper. It's kind of coming back.
Okay.
Yeah. Not making the whole house ugly wallpaper, but like, a half bath, like in some trendy wallpaper, or, like the one living room just has a big wall where, you do soft colors and then one wall is like a really cool design per se. So that's definitely coming back. That trend of just like black, gray, and white was very like 2018 to like 2023.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of right when rates went up a couple years ago, that's when I started to notice, some color changes happening. Right. And actually I posted something on my Instagram the other day, and it shows like the top like 5 paint color choices for each decade.
I saw that.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool to see. But you see like literally from like 2000 to like 2025, there's a lot of just like plain white.
Beige, gray.
Yeah, we're getting crazy with some gray. But no, I'm definitely seeing colors come back in style. A lot of bold colors.
Yes.
Not so much like your hot pinks or like, like a light blue, but like, like royal blue or like emerald green. I'm seeing a lot of stuff like that, or like gold looking colors. And you're seeing it with like kitchen appliances too.
Yes.
That's changing as well, where, back in the day, everyone wanted stainless steel, but now I'm seeing like, like all blue appliances, like all red appliances.
Right.
That's becoming a thing.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Outside of, doing your job, how do you recharge? How do you kind of...
Man, recharge. A lot of people think I'm a crack addict. not actually doing drugs per se, but like, I don't really drink caffeine.
You're intense.
Yeah, I'm just like, I run off Bishop energy. That's how all of my friends
I love that.
Grew up knowing me. Like, if I have a cup of coffee, I won't be able to sit down. Like, I'll need to like go to a trampoline or something. Like, I just need, in the morning, I drink cold water. That's it. Maybe some tea occasionally. But no, I guess recharge, I'm kind of like always working, but it works for me because I kind of have like an ADHD brain.
Yeah, so it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, so it's more of a lifestyle. My wife and I, we do travel a good amount. That's kind of like my recharge, even though I'm still kind of working at the same time that I'm traveling.
Yeah.
But I like it. And I'd say that's more my recharge, going on snowboarding trips, going to, my wife and I spent 4 days in the Dominican Republic. So that was cool. And we went to Ireland for a week back in September. So I'd say traveling kind of recharges me. Okay. Even though I'm kind of always on. And if you want to be a very good agent, you need to be always on, in my opinion. Like, yes, you can delegate things. I know there's they have big teams and stuff that do that, but like for my clients, like I'm still checking that email every day. Or like if they shoot me a text, I always tell my clients like, hey, if I don't respond to you within 24 hours, I'm likely dead. You should call my wife. So.
How lucrative is it working with like big investors? Like, is it better because of the volume, or is it worse because you're not able to make as much commission because you're trying to kind of like, grease the wheels for the long-term play maybe?
So big investors is such a, that's such a broad spectrum, because like I'm not working with like Blackstone or BlackRock, those type.
Well, what I mean by that, I mean like people that are doing like the Burr method.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now I've got 4. I have 4 flips going on and 2 of them are the same client, and then I've got 2 other clients doing their own flips right now, and actually may have another one going under contract today. Let's knock on wood. But yes, having that investor mindset definitely helps. And again, I mean, we don't own like 100 units. You see all this stuff online, like I own 100 units by age 22. It's like, okay, like, sure. Like, you maybe own it with like 10 other people,
right.
or, like your equity position is like negative, but sure, you own your 100 units.
Right.
I keep mine really lean with my wife, the 4 properties that we have. And I just understand single family and small multifamily really well. I don't really venture into outside of what I don't know. And what I know is single family and small multifamily. And I've done a lot of business on those 2 things. So I work with specifically like those clients. One of my good investors right now, most of them are not in the state of Ohio.
Okay.
So I've got from Canada right now, I've got a client who lives in Hawaii, got multiple clients in California.
So you're licensed in these different states?
No. I'm not licensed, but they're buying and flipping and investing in Cincinnati.
Oh, wow. They just live those places.
They just live in those places. Yes. So I'd say more than half of my investor clientele is not even living in Cincinnati, Ohio.
So you're the boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk about the Shabri group. I mean, you guys are killing it. Number 1 year after year. How important is a team? How important is that culture?
Right.
And I know that they do a lot for you guys on the back end as far as generating leads.
Right.
Talk to me kind of about the perspective you have on splits. I know some people are hesitant to work with teams that, they're taking a higher percentage.
Right.
But, 60-80% of zero is zero.
That is correct. And that's what I always tell like newer agents. And like, I'm not a big like recruiter per se.
Right.
I'm like more of just like, let me sell real estate. That's what I do. That's what I'm very good at. But the Shabri Group is an awesome place for a newer agent to start their career in real estate. And if it's not the Shabri Group, I mean, there's other really great teams all throughout Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky that, you could go interview and join with. I really think as a newer agent, unless you really, really know what you're doing, and most agents don't know what they're doing. Most people do not know what they're doing. Joining a team is huge. And, the first couple of years, you're kind of going to eat shit. Like, sorry for cussing, but like, that's what you have to do. But that's like a lot of profession. Like, do you want to be around, other killers per se, like people who are really doing well in the business, and learning from them, right? If that means, you're going to have to do a 50-50 split for a couple of years, so be it.
Right.
But you want to get wins under your belt, right? Like being a solo agent, not having like really anyone to turn to. I mean, I give kudos to the people that actually successful who went that route, but like there's not many that actually went solo right out the gate and ended up being successful.
Right.
Like maybe 1% to 2% of agents. And I've been on the team since I joined, since in 2019. And every year, my business has grown. I haven't had a down year. Every year it's gone up. So I always tell people, like, you kind of emulate what I do, and there's other top agents on my team. And again, there's awesome other teams in Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky that you can emulate from. But I would say as a newer agent, like, just know that you're going to have to eat shit for a year or 2. And if you stick with it and you hustle and you work hard and you also work smart, working hard, working smart is completely different. You can succeed in this industry.
Wow. So right now it's 2026. What kind of market are we in right now?
So, everyone online is just doomsday everything. Like, it's just about anything, right?
Right.
About anything.
It's toxic.
The facts are, the last 2 years transactionally, we've had, as the United States as a whole, very slow market. Like, as slow as, like, the Great Recession in 2007, 2008. Transactionally wise, that means total numbers of actual transactions happening, right? Some of the lowest it's been in 30, 35 plus years. And that was in 2024, 2025. 2026 is starting to trend up a little bit more than those 2 years, how they started. But I always tell people real estate's hyper local, like, all the United States, but we're here, right? But even within Cincinnati, you zoom in, right? Like, what's Marymount doing compared to Price Hill?
Right.
Like, you can't compare those 2 markets, right? So I always tell people it's hyper local, and it's more hyper local than ever because there are still pockets in Cincinnati where if the property's priced right, people are willing to sell their leg. There's multiple offers, and it's off the market in 48 hours. Now, there's other markets in Cincinnati that, during COVID time, like they were popping off, but now, like, you really have to price your property right, and you may not get an offer for a month. Like, that's just how the market is in Cincinnati now.
Yeah.
And what I see going forward in 2026, I think it's a lot based on what interest rates are going to do. And if anyone, I tell everyone this all the time, if anyone tells you they know what interest rates are going to do, they're lying. They're just lying to you. But my random professional-ish opinion is that we float around the high fives and low sixes probably for the rest of this year. I'd love to see us get to like the mid fives, because if we get to like the mid fives on a 30-year fix or like a low 5% rate, I think it would open up a lot of people who are sitting on sub 3 or 4% interest rates to finally say, you know what, we'll sell and buy. And that would open up a lot of transactions. That would open up more inventory, because inventory is still low. It is. It's nowhere near as low as what it was in like 2020 to 2022, but comparatively to what Cincinnati as a normal market should be, it's still low.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think all these generations, probably at least all the way backed up to our generation at least. I mean, there's people our age that still haven't owned a home yet.
No, the median home buyer right now is age 40. 40.
That's insane.
It used to be 20 years ago, like 30, 31. Like, we've gone up a decade in 15 years of the median home buyer being age 40 is that's not good. That's not sustainable.
Yeah. I tell my friends all the time, I'm like, it's not about, I'm like, when you wait until the quote unquote right time to buy a house, there might not be any houses for you to buy.
Correct.
And then also with what you said, and I learned this recently, is that selling a house is not a problem, but finding another house is very hard. And it's kind of one of those things that, I started getting all these like letters in the mail, like, we'll buy your home cash. Like, I bet you will. Like,
all the wholesalers.
Exactly.
Nothing gets wholesalers. I'm friends with some really good ones, but some of them are absolutely horrible. But the good ones.
Well, it's kind of like, I mean, I talked to my dad, and it's kind of similar to pyramid scheme stuff, that they'll go to these conferences, get all hyped up, and then they'll write a million letters to people, and it's like,
And they can't actually buy your property.
Exactly.
They're just assigning the contract.
Exactly.
Again, I am friends with some really fantastic wholesalers throughout Cincinnati. It's the same thing with agents. I mean, there's a lot of bad agents, no offense.
Right.
Sorry. And wholesaler-wise, it's the same. Like, there's, there's the few that kill it and that actually do, they do a good job. And, most of those typically are being ethical, I hope. But there are some bad apples out there, or, broccoli heads who are, 21 years old, took some online course thinking they can just wholesale a bunch of real estate. And again, anything's possible, but I don't want to dive too much into that.
Yeah, for sure. You're good. Let's talk about some of these different areas in Cincy. I'm very familiar with some of these, but I'm curious to see your, what you have. What's an underrated part of town that is on the come up, or that people might not even think about right now that you think is going to develop here in the next few years?
So I think if Loveland area has already been popping off. A lot of people, it's one of the hottest markets right now, in my opinion. But on the outskirts of Loveland, like where Mainville, Morrow area is, Batavia, basically going all the way up to like from Batavia, Goshen area, all the way up to like where Kings Island is. On that whole trek over there, I really think over the next 10, 15 years is going to explode, because a lot of people want to be, east side over there. You see a lot of developers buying up a lot of land over there, like D.R. Horton, Fisher Homes, Miranda Homes, Dries Homes, all those, big name builders. They're buying land over there for a reason. They're not just building 500 homes off a whim, right? Like, so I really think those areas are going to shoot up for growth in Cincinnati. Some other areas too, like Madisonville's kind of already been popping off, but I still think there's a lot of room to grow in Madisonville. I think another area that's kind of slept on too is out near like Green Township on the west side. Okay. They just put in a Cooper's Hawk. Fisher Homes actually has a really nice like 40 home neighborhood there, and there's another builder that's building around there right now. So there are definitely pockets that are like, but my big one is that whole trek of basically from Goshen, Batavia up to Kings Island. Like it's multiple areas, but I think you buy property out there and you sit on it for 10, 15 years, you're going to be looking pretty.
Yeah.
So
what really interests me is, so I'm out near like in between like Fairfield, Forest Park, Pleasant Run Farms.
Yep.
That whole area. And I actually, when I talk to a lot of investors and realtors, they always talk about Hamilton, how Hamilton is slow.
Yeah, I didn't even I forgot about Hamilton. Yeah, that is Hamilton's slow. Like it's a sleeper too.
It's a sleeper. And then another one that's a little bit, it kind of reminds me of Madisonville, because it's already starting to get up to date and already has a lot of, strong residential communities, is Finneytown.
Yeah, Finneytown.
That whole Finneytown, they put a Dutch Bros over there. They put a
They
lot
did.
of Chick-fil-A.
I saw a beautiful mid-century modern home there. It was so cool.
Yeah. What about Northern Kentucky? My wife's actually from Fort Thomas, and
So I only sell on Ohio side just because I'm too busy.
Right.
And I just focus on the Ohio side.
Okay.
But I actually lived in Fort Thomas. My two buddies and I rented a house when I was like 23, 24. But I'm good friends with a couple agents that kill it in Northern Kentucky.
Yeah.
And I've heard, my wife and I, we do own a rental property in Covington.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of the Covington area. And I know, Fort Thomas is Fort Thomas, right? Cold Springs growing.
Mm-hmm.
I hear
Cold Springs is growing.
you see all that stuff being built in Newport right now, like, on the river.
Yes.
Pretty cool to see all that growth down there.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll wrap up. What is the best piece of business advice that you've been given?
Man, I listen to so many podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm a podcast fiend.
Tell us about some.
I think in the world of like everything's so AI, Claude this, Grok this, ChatGPT this, right? And all these like AI generated videos and pictures and content. I really think authenticity is what is going to set you apart. And that's what's helped me in my business over the years is like, I'm not perfect. I post weird videos sometimes, like, and all my stuff is not just centered around real estate. That's what a lot of, maybe this isn't just to agents, but anyone starting a business too, like most people don't want to follow your business page. They don't.
Right.
That's the cold hard truth. They don't. They want to follow you.
Correct.
They're happy.
Correct.
They're happy for you that you started your business, but they don't really give a rat's butt of your business page.
Correct.
So I always try to tell people, you are marketing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The business follows you, especially like in the agent industry, or if you're a lender, or if you're in the title company, an artist, like obviously, your work helps define who you are, right? But like it's you that people are following at the end of the day. So being authentic in the day and age of just AI and the same regurgitated bullshit that's posted all the time, I think is really what's going to help you stand out.
Okay. So share with people where they can find you at on socials, whether it's your business or whatever, your personal page.
So
where you're at.
Yeah, Ethan Bishop. You can just Google me, and I should be the first one that pops up. Bishop of Real Estate is also like my handle on Instagram. I kind of love it. My last name is Bishop.
Yes.
The chess piece. I think it's pretty cool. LinkedIn, Ethan Bishop. On Facebook, Ethan Bishop. Add me as a friend. Follow me on Instagram. The Shabri Group, like I said, that's the team I've been on since 2019. We are the #1 residential team in Cincinnati. We sold over 613 properties last year. 52 of those were mine.
Nice.
And my goal this year is to sell 75 properties. So I think I'm going to be on track to do that this year.
Awesome.
So.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Absolutely, man.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.